Welcome back, you beautiful people. Some of us may know what a drivetrain on a mountain bike is, but for those that do not understand, your mountain bike drivetrain consists of, come with me down here. It consists of a derailleur, a chain, a cassette, a chain ring, and some cranks. Now, all of this combined helps your bike propel forward and to have good times on the trail. Now, when it comes to your drivetrain, you kind of need to clean it. You got to maintain it, and sometimes on occasions you need to upgrade a few bits to make all of this work sufficiently. Now, here are a few common mistakes on mountain bike drivetrain. Oh, here we go, buddy. Like a monkey on a machine gun. What I mean by this, right, is crunching through the gears. And this happens when the drivetrain is under load. Like this guy right here, he's climbing up a hill, crunching through the gears, jumping multiple gears, making the bike skip gears. It sounds nasty. Also, has a great tendency to snap a chain. Be like this guy. When you want to change your gears on a hill climb or when you're putting down the power, lay off a little bit. Let the gears free up so you can skip to the next gear. The chain on a bike is made up of loads of little pins, rollers, and plates. Now, you got to keep this all well lubricated. Now, I've seen the most common mistake when you head out there, especially on a muddy ride, and you just add more lube to the chain. It is good practice to give your chain a good clean, give your drivetrain a good clean, no matter what kind of weather you're riding, dust or dirt. Because if you just add chain lube to a dirty chain, it's what's underneath the lube that's going to act as grinding paste to your drivetrain, and it's going to lead to premature wear on your bike. So, give it a good old wipe or a clean before adding chain lube to your chain. Quick tip when you're lubing your chain to make sure that you've lubed the whole way around, start on your split link. Right there. Then you know, when you've gone all the way around, you've lubed your whole chain. Now, if you ride your bike a hell of a lot and you don't really check your drivetrain, now there is some common stretching frictions going on with the chain. And this will be wearing out on your chain ring, pulling your chain, and on your cassette. Now, when not checked, you will wear out all of these components. Now, this is commonly known as chain stretch. If you were to ride your bike for a long period of time with the same chain and it's worn, and you come to a point where I need to change my chain because things are starting to stretch, you put a new chain on and it starts to skip. You'll find it skipping. And you're thinking, I've just put a new chain on. Why is it still skipping? It's because everything else is worn to that chain and the new chain is not bedded into the old stuff. So your cassette will be worn, your front chain ring will be worn, maybe even your jockey wheels. Now, when you get to that point, that's when it gets a little bit expensive. That means you have to change out everything. But if you were to frequently change your chain, when it slightly gets a bit worn, you'll prolong the life of your cassette, your chain ring, and your jockey wheels. But there's a solution to this. Get yourself a chain checker. It's a special tool that measures how much wear is in the chain. Now, if you were a person that would change a chain at 0.5% of the wear in a chain, then you prolong the life of your cassette to, you could run 2 to 3 chains to 1 life of your chain ring and your cassette. You save money in the long run, all right? So check your chain. Now, this mistake happens all too often with myself. I get too excited when I'm trying to build my bike or take it apart, especially when I get a puncture on the side of the trail on the rear, and I need to get the rear wheel out. Now, I'll probably find that you're in the middle of the cassette or way up here in the big climbing gear, and trying to remove your wheel with that in that gear is an absolute faff. Now, to save all that faff, make sure before you even loosen that axle is to get the chain and the gear right down in that small one. And if you have a derailleur that has a clutch, turn that off. If you've got SRAM, this is pretty cool. You can just shift it all the way down, push the pin, and it makes it way easier for the wheel to slide out. Fix your puncture, and you can put it back in with less faff. If you don't do that, when you leave it up in this gear, you have a tendency to kind of twist the derailleur, bend it in awkward ways, and it's not good for the derailleur. So make sure you have it in the small gear before taking your rear wheel out. this is it, I found it, the little road gap, dude. Man, let's take a look at this. Ha! Whoa. Nice. I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it. It looks fine. Oh, dude, look at these drops. Whoa. This one's big. The final one, never place your bike down drive side because you don't want to be damaging your derailleur. No matter how cheap or expensive your drivetrain is, don't put it down that way because you don't want your gears to be stuffed up. You don't want to bend a mech. You don't want to bend your derailleur hanger or whatever. It's always good practice to put your bike down. If you were to put it down on the floor, for any reason whatsoever, is non-drive side. Drive side up. Even better is to place it against a tree. Don't do it. It's nasty. I felt really bad just dropping my bike there. These gears went zzz because I hit them on the floor. Not good. Anyway. Sorry, bike. So there are a few common drivetrain mistakes we've seen on the trails, people doing at cafes, wherever. Now, are you one of these people that have done this to your poor, beautiful drivetrain? Like I said, no matter how cheap or expensive, look after that because that's changing gears for you when you get to them hills. You don't want them to be popping and shifting everywhere. Your day will be an absolute buzzkill with those things not working. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and it's giving you an insight on how to look after your drivetrain. See you next time. See ya. Oh wait, before we go for a cup of tea, head over to GMBN Tech if you want to get all drivetrained up. If you've got some common mistakes that you need to fix down there, head over there. There's loads of videos. Cup of tea, Matt. Cup of tea. Over there.